Hi friends, welcome back. I am excited for today's video. It is my annual Q&A. Last year I did 2 of them in about a month's time because there were a lot of questions, and it usually seems to be something that a lot of people enjoy. So I figured I'm gonna do it again. It's about that time. Probably not gonna get to all of them, but I thought I would try and cover at least a bunch of them if I can. I was asked when Nick will be joining me for a Q&A, and unfortunately, he's a hard man to track down right now. He's very in and out during the day. We're in busy season right now here in Florida. If you're new, my name is Lynette, and we live in Sarasota. We have 4 children and a dog, which you may or may not hear. We're working on his training to not bark if he sees something strange. So if you hear him a little bit, you'll know what's going on. He likes looking out the window. So I'm gonna jump into some questions. So I'll be referring to my phone. As to why Nick won't be joining me, he is a realtor and winter is always busier for him. Especially this year, it's pretty busy, which we're grateful for. And he also has a little side business. He manages and runs a e-bike rental business that is based in Holmes County, but he runs the Sarasota branch down here. So he'll be delivering and picking up bikes. A lot of times it's evenings, mornings, and phone calls, meeting people a lot. He's a busy guy right now, and so I don't see him very much during the day. So I'm gonna start with this one. What inspired you to start your vlog? I always look forward to your videos. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Back, what is it, 9 years ago now? I think I started in December of 2016. And I had thrown the idea around some, but I never was actually like serious about it. It's just one of those things. Back then it was not at all common for Mennonites of any type to be filming on YouTube, at least not that I knew of. So that would have been a pretty new thing. And YouTube was in a different stage at that point even than it is now. It's just a lot more popular now. I've always loved decorating. I loved decorating seasonally. We lived in Ohio at the time. That's where I grew up. And all of a sudden, I decided one day that I'm going to film my Christmas home tour without much thought put into it. Nick had encouraged me to do it, and I had 2 little boys at the time. Caden and Jackson they're 15 months apart, and I came out of a really busy season, and it was still busy even when I started YouTube, but I think at that point they would have been maybe 2 and 3 or something like that, and I just also felt like it was kind of a creative outlet when I did start it, and it started purely as a hobby. I never ever imagined that it would turn into like a business, a full-time job, and would support our family financially. I just started putting out videos. Like, they were all over the place. I mean, I did basically kind of whatever I wanted to, and back then that was fine. You could put out whatever you wanted and the YouTube algorithm would do its thing, and it took a long time for me to even grow and all of that, but I know that there's probably still some of you that are here from way back, and I so appreciate it. I just find it highly astonishing that people would come back week after week to watch my videos, and I just feel like I'm not always that interesting of a person, and I guess some seasons my content tends to shift depending what we're doing, and I appreciate you all just hanging in there with us. And somewhere with all of this, someone had asked, do you see yourself doing YouTube long term? I hope so, but I know it's a lot of work. I don't have any plans of quitting at the moment, unless the Lord, decides otherwise. And yet at the same time, I also don't want to do it forever and ever. Do you have a set time for editing or creating? Not necessarily, no. I am pretty much all over the place. I do tend to try and do it while they're in school. Harper's at home with me still, so, she's around some, but the other kids definitely aren't as much on my videos anymore, and it works out better for me to try and do it, when the house is more quiet, but also I film some when we're out and about, so it just kind of depends. Are you a Sabatarian? I'm not actually sure how to pronounce it, and I had to look it up, I'll be honest. I had not really heard that term before. What I gathered is, from looking it up, is if I would have my Sabbath on a Saturday, I think, if you will. No, we don't do that. We have our Sabbath on Sunday. What's something you're proud of or your proudest moment of 2025? I would definitely say it is our Airbnb in Ohio, Maple Haven. That is something that we both, all of us, worked very hard on, and we didn't really see it coming before we bought the house last winter. I mean, we tossed the idea around, but we kind of happened to be in a spot where it worked out. Everything seemed to kind of point in the direction of we should buy this house, and we were encouraged by some of our friends to do it and all of that, and we respect their opinions, and I definitely think it was a good move for us just as an investment, but also as a way for us to be able to spend time in Ohio in the summer, which we enjoy doing. It's close to my grandma and all of that. I would definitely say that's probably the thing I'm most proud of for 2025, if you're speaking in terms of things that we, did or accomplished. I will try to put the link in my description box if you're wanting to check it out. All of our dates are opened for the summer as far as the calendar being open. So if you're wanting to book a summer trip, it is a great time to do it. I've enjoyed hosting a lot of you. Hi, do you have a set cleaning schedule every day? Can you make videos regarding it? That's something I used to do a lot more of, was film cleaning videos, and occasionally I'll still do that, but I should have my planner with me. But I have talked about something, depending on the season of life that I'm in. I've found myself in the last, probably 5 years or more, of not really cleaning on just a once a week schedule. I don't really get it done. And so I clean on an as needed basis, essentially, just doing it when I need to, or maybe occasionally I'll do like most of the house at once. If you're in that type of season, I could recommend the Confident Mom Planner. I'm trying to think what it's actually called, but I used it part of last year, and I have the one for this year, and it's something that is broken down into every day, every week, and like on a monthly basis. She puts things, writes it out specifically, and you can also customize it yourself, I believe, to fit your needs specifically before you buy it. I have a link that I'll put in the description box for you. Very nice if you like to check things off and you like to just do little bits at a time and you don't want to use any more brain space to try and think what you should be doing. So I'll refer to it, and some weeks I'll use it. Other weeks, maybe I'm doing it on Friday, or, it just kind of depends. But it's something that I like having around, and it takes kind of the brain work out of it for you. And once you're in that cycle of doing things every week, maybe you miss a week here and there, it doesn't matter, because you know that you're going to be getting it next week and it's all written out for you. And yeah, it's something that I could recommend. Oh, something that is not a question, but I wanted to address a little bit, is something that I've been trying to take as consistently as possible, and that is my Ritual multivitamins. And I've talked about Ritual quite a lot in the past, and they are sponsoring today's video, which I'm grateful for, but it's something that I have taken the most consistently, I think, through all of my adult life, is these multivitamins. And I love them. I feel like it is something that has been beneficial to me, just in helping fill key nutrient gaps that might be missing, especially, as a mom, we sometimes maybe forget to quite take care of ourselves like we should. They're called the Essential for Women. They're multivitamin for 18 and older, anyone between 18 and like 49 years old especially. So something I like specifically about Ritual is that they're third-party tested, and they are vegan friendly and non-GMO certified, gluten-free, and also they're formulated without major allergens. Another thing is, I'll try to show you close up here, but you can literally see what's inside of them, and they're essenced with mint, so they smell minty, and they are made traceable, which means you can trace back where they get their key ingredients from. So you take 2 of these, you can take them with or without food. They do not affect my stomach, make me nauseous or anything like that. They are very gentle on your stomach, in other words. And they are subscription based, and you can use my code Yoder Lynette 25 for 25% off of your first order. Something else that I did want to mention is this gray bottle. So they just sent me this here about a couple weeks ago maybe. Haven't taken these super long yet, but they are the Synbiotic Plus. I believe it's a new thing for them, but that is a combination. It says a prebiotic, a probiotic, and a postbiotic. And it really targets your gut. And I do feel like I've noticed like a slight difference. How would I put this? A more consistent bathroom schedule, if you understand what I'm saying. It's definitely something that I feel like I could recommend to you all. So I will put all the information in the description box for you and you can go check it out. I'll also have a QR code on the screen that you can scan with your phone and it'll take you right there. So go check them out. I have a question. If you have a family who is Amish, can you still see the family members who have different belief? I heard when you leave the Amish, you are shunned. It really just depends. In our situation, yes, we still have family that is Amish and we see them, it's no problem. There are definitely Amish groups who do practice shunning, and in those situations, there is that going on. So it kind of depends on the setting and how strict of an Amish group you're dealing with. What do you think is the biggest misconception about Amish and Mennonite people? Probably that it's a cult, and then just putting us all in one box because we're there's a lot of differences between us. We're definitely not all the same. And so that's kind of the biggest thing that I see is a lot of people were like, well, you know, they're around certain groups of Amish, and then if someone else that is Amish doesn't do like they are, well, then they must not be Amish. And I'm like, yes, they're Amish, just because they might drive tractor versus horse farming doesn't mean that they're not Amish. It's just different sects, or how would you say it? Different denominations in the Amish culture, if you will. That is something I see pretty heavily. I love your videos and your decor style. Thank you. I love traveling and trying new places. Me too. What are some of your favorite restaurants to go to in your area? I would say probably one of our favorite restaurants in town is Connor's Steak and Seafood. They have the best steak and seafood. I love their calamari. It is top notch. Have not ever had calamari better than at Connor's. And the steak is phenomenal. Their seafood is really good too. That is probably one of our top favorites. I love the Fire Taco Truck. So that's not a restaurant, but if you love tacos and you like legit tacos, there's a Fire Taco Truck that is close to Palmer Road, close to the Detweiler's Farm Market that is on the corner of Palmer and what is the little road? Packinghouse, I think. You say hi to the camera. Say hi, friends.
Hi, friends.
Ford's Garage is always great if you love burgers. That's in UTC. I'm trying to think where else. If you want to do something really fancy, but still have like a bit more of a coastal beach feeling, try Summer House in Siesta Key. It's definitely not somewhere we even go maybe on a yearly basis, but we've been there a few times and it's really good, and it's definitely date night material. You will want reservations. That's a place that we love. Where is your favorite in-person and your favorite online store to buy clothing for yourself? That's a bit of a hard question because I don't just buy from one store. I'm trying to think. In person. I'd say the stores I shop at the most in person, I'm not going to narrow it down to just one. A mix of TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Target, Walmart. Those are probably the main ones. Some thrift stores. I would say those are the main ones. I don't really have just one store. If I could, I would probably choose Main Street Exchange for an in-store store, but like I can't shop there because I don't live in Pennsylvania, but they do have a store location, but I do love shopping online on their website. So that's one of my favorite online places, but also I do buy a lot of things from Amazon. I have a variety of places, and I feel like it's something that I'm still trying to figure out sometimes is my style and what I like. How long did you date before getting married? So officially, I think we would have dated around 8 months or 9 months maybe, but it's a bit of a story, and I don't know that I'm going to get into it today, because we knew each other and we liked each other for years before we actually started dating. And so once we finally did date, we already had a prior history, and so we definitely didn't wait around very long to get married. And so we had about a 3.5-month engagement, which was pushing it to be able to plan a wedding that we had invited 600 people to. And so, yeah, so we didn't date extremely long, but you have to understand that there was a lot of history there before. And so that is the reason why. Someone is asking about the color of our kitchen cabinets. They are a ripe olive by Sherwin-Williams. Another question. I really love your channel. Thank you. I just wonder what you enjoy most, decorating or cooking or baking? Definitely decorating. I have told people that I think if I could afford a luxury, it would be hiring like a personal chef or something. That would probably be something I would love. I wouldn't have to think about what to cook. And I mean, I do it and I've learned to enjoy it more, if you will, but I definitely would love decorating way more. So how do you balance a full, maybe it means full life of mom, business, woman, property owner, and still be present with the family, cook wonderful homemade meals? How do you feel you balance this? I don't know that I balance it very well all the time. Like, I just truly do not have it all together, okay? It might seem like I do, but I am human. I am a normal person just like anyone else. I, struggle with being patient. Feel like my house lacks a lot of times as far as, it's not as clean as I'd love it to be. And, I've had to let go of some of that stuff where before I could have done a lot more of that. But it's just something that you kind of have to learn to, maybe let go of some of those expectations as you go, and different seasons of life are going to look differently for you. Something we have to remember is that we can't do it all. Like, we're just not going to be able to do everything the best, and it's okay. So there might be areas that I kind of let slide, and that is sometimes meals. Sometimes they're very basic. Then maybe I do other things that some other people wouldn't. And so it's just something we have to balance, especially in the world of social media. It's so easy to compare ourselves and think that we're just, we are failing, and I am just, I don't have a grain mill, so I must be a bad mom. While I would love to do that for my family, I don't think that I would be able to utilize it in the way that I should. And so that's something I'm gonna let go for right now. Sometimes you make things from scratch more. Some moms maybe don't have, side hustles, and they're able to do that more. Some of us do have jobs. Some of them are in the home. Some of them are out of the home. And we just have to be careful to not always compare ourselves with others, because it's so easy to become discontent and just feel like a failure. Do you struggle with sleep or anxiety issues? Not generally, no. I mean, there's things that keep me up at night. Sometimes where I'll wake up, and I'll have this thought in the front of my brain that won't shut up. But it's not necessarily that I would say I struggle with anxiety or sleeplessness. There's seasons that I do have some of that maybe, but nothing on a regular basis. Would you do more modeling in the future if you were asked to? And this is referring to last summer. I did a collection with the Main Street Exchange, and I was there for a photo shoot to model some of the pieces I helped kind of curate for my collection with them. And it was an interesting experience, but I can't say that it's something that I would love to do. I definitely was quite happy when that period was over for the day. It was interesting to see what all goes into it, but it's not something I desire to do for myself. No, I'd much rather be behind the camera or, doing something like this than being a model. So, how old are your children? So Caden's 12, Jackson's 11, Oakland is 6, and Harper is going to be 4 in April. How is life different for your family in Florida compared to Ohio regarding quality of life and church family? I would definitely say it is a lot different, but we love it. I would say it's just a completely different lifestyle in the fact that we live in city versus there it was a lot more rural. And we lived in town all of our married life in Ohio, but it's a very small town, like, you know, a Dollar General, a grocery store, you know, your normal little libraries and a couple gas stations, fast food joints, and, you know, a Mexican restaurant, things like that. So it wasn't very big. I was used to at least town life, having close neighbors, so that part isn't very different. But I would say we definitely have loved living here, and we don't see ourselves moving away. I know there's another question of someone saying that we, you know, appear more relaxed in Ohio, if we'd ever consider moving back to the country. And I don't, not at this point. Like, we enjoy visiting, but I'm always very ready to come back here. And it's a different lifestyle there. I guess it would take time to kind of find our niche, if you will. It would definitely take some convincing in order for me to go back there, especially with the weather. That's like the biggest thing for me, is the weather. The winters just kind of, I can't do it. I could, obviously anyone can, but it is definitely, that was a big reason for moving, was the weather. So I don't foresee us moving anytime at this point. What are some good books for Bible study, like a cross-reference or a daily devotion, or some of your favorites? Right now I'm going through one by Paul David Tripp. It's called New Morning Mercies. I don't have it here with me, but I really like that one. It really makes you think, and he has a little portion of scripture you can read with it. And he has a lot of good, solid things to, you know, add into your scripture reading. And another company I would recommend is the Daily Grace Co. They have just a large variety of different Bible studies for groups, for personal study. They have some Bibles, just a lot of good things, and that's something that I could recommend to you. Would you ever consider doing a cookbook, collaborating with your family members and friends? I've been hoping to see a cookbook from you in a long time. And I think, with understanding that I don't love cooking and baking, you'll probably know the answer to this question, but I definitely don't plan on making a cookbook. I just do not have any desire to, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I don't come up with a lot of recipes myself, like from scratch. I just don't. And so I feel like it'd be very hard to do that, to come up with a cookbook, because I'm not one who creates recipes myself, if you will. And the same goes for my mom and my grandma, and I don't have a lot of just recipes that are handed down to us. And my mom is the same way. I get my love of decorating from her. She also doesn't love to cook, and while we do it, it's just not something that is very exciting for us, I guess. And that might sound bad, but yeah. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing a cookbook. How's your grandmother doing since your grandfather passed? Are your mom and your mom and yourself? That's the first part of the thing. My grandma's doing pretty good, I would say. I'm sure she has her days, but she's actually down here in Florida for the winter, and she's staying in a little RV/camper on my parents' old property, the one that flooded in Storm Debbie. So she has that there, and it's kind of back where she was used to being here in the winter with Grandpa, but you know, the house is obviously gone. However, she's definitely stays busy. I mean, she's piecing comforters, and she's seeing people. People stop in to see her. And, you know, I think she's 80 now. And so I do think that, you know, she has slowed down some, but she would, I think, say she's doing pretty good. And Mom and I are doing well. We're pretty busy, both of us. She's doing a lot of house staging, furnishing. I'm helping her with a house at the moment, and you'll be seeing a video in the future on that probably. Your little girls are growing up so fast, as well as your sons. How's the transition going for Oakland going to school? She loves it. This week she's going to have 4 days, and just thrilled about it. Normally she has 3 days of kindergarten, but they're doing an extra day to make up for another week, so she loves it. Absolutely loves it. Harper has learned to kind of adjust. Took a little bit of time, but I think she does very well with it. And our little doggy, how's he doing? Bo, he is doing pretty well. His sleeping has been abysmal for most of the time, but I think maybe it's starting to get a little better. He's starting to do a little better with being quiet until we get up, but it's definitely been a challenge. There's been nights where I'm just about ready to despair, because he'll get up at 5 o'clock or 5:30, which is just the worst time of day to get up, in my opinion, because then I have to get up like an hour less, like 45 minutes later. So there's like not enough time to really go to sleep. And then you're lacking in sleep. And I mean, honestly, I told someone the other day, I was like, I mean, my baby slept better than that. They slept through the night earlier than his age. So it's definitely been interesting in that sense, but I think it's getting a little better and we're working on the training process and stuff, but we love him and he's so cute and all of that. So, you know, it is easier to forgive him during the day then. Come here, over here. Say hi, Bo. Can you say hi? My batteries keep dying on me and I don't know how long I can keep limping them along. So I'm probably gonna need to stop the questions here shortly. Do your parents go to your church? Are Nick's parents Amish? No, my parents do not go to our church. They live here in Florida, but they pastor another church, the Tourist Mennonite Church, actually, which is essentially a tourist church. It's over in Pinecraft. So the majority of the year, it's pretty small, like just a minimal amount of members, like really small. Like during the winter time is when all the snowbirds and the tourists are there. Then they have hundreds of people coming every Sunday. So it's a little bit of a different thing for them, but they had been asked a couple years ago if they were willing to kind of help them, you know, just kind of take charge there and pastor, because my dad's been a pastor for years. And so that's where they're at right now. Don't know that they're always going to be there, but for the time being, that's where they're at. And then Nick's parents are not Amish. Is this your forever home, or do you see another move, maybe a bigger house? We definitely don't think this is our forever home. We can't complain at all. Like, very thankful for it. It definitely works just fine. We've got 4 bedrooms, essentially. The one's a playroom, but you know, the rooms aren't very big and we can't really host people very well, and we don't really have an extra bed or anything. But as far as living here long term, I think for now, this is where we're gonna be, just because we bought at the peak of the market here, and so we've gotta wait for things to kind of level itself out. We do feel a little cramped as far as just our outdoor space, especially. The boys just, and the girls too, they don't have a lot of room to run around, but you know, it's part of living in town. It's some of the sacrifices you have to make. And we knew that going in, so there's not like just a lot we can do about it at the moment. And like I said, we're perfectly fine. Like, we're very thankful for it. But I definitely would love a property that is bigger and a slightly bigger house, just to accommodate, you know, hosting a little better, and you know, the kids have a little bit more room to stretch out. But for now, this is where we're at. When are you gonna renovate your bathroom? I love home projects that you do. I don't know. I would love to renovate our bathroom. Actually, I would love to do the boys' bathroom too, but I don't foresee it happening this year. Maybe next year? I don't know. We were gonna do it last year, but then we bought the house in Ohio, and obviously you can't do everything. And so that kind of got pushed out, which is fine. There's nothing wrong. Like, we can use the bathroom just fine, but it would definitely be something that we both look forward to. Those are the 2 main things that we have not renovated in our house yet, is 2 of the bathrooms. Will you allow your girls to wear trousers, pants? They wear like some leggings and things like that here, mainly when it's cold, just because you need something to wear. I wear a lot of dresses on them, and that is my preference, for them to wear dresses, and they both love wearing dresses, so it's not really an issue at this point. I would say we'll kind of address it as it comes. Like I said, our preference would be skirts, just because that's the way I grew up. I feel like it's feminine, it's modest, and yet I know that there are definitely pants and things that are not necessarily immodest. It's just not something that I grew up with. It's not something that's common in our culture, and so that's still a part of me. So I'm not saying a hard yes or no necessarily. At some point, I know that they're going to make their own decisions, and you know, that's going to be their choice then at that point. But for now, I wear mostly dresses and skirts on them. Will there be more children in your future? There's a couple questions like that, and I have answered this one, but it's been a while. But no, we are done. We feel very complete and content as a family of 6. Or will your children graduate from high school? I hope so. We plan to send them through high school. And I mean, at this point, that's our plan. But obviously, you know, if we see that something is just not a good fit for them. I would not be opposed to them, you know, getting their GED or something like that. But at this point, we plan to. I see much value in them getting jobs though, because that's how I grew up, and I actually only went through 8th grade. I never had a high school diploma or anything, and I've done just fine in my life. I've never needed a diploma necessarily, and while I don't love that, it's not something I'm necessarily proud of. I would definitely love to see my kids go through, and I feel like in this day and age, it's a lot more vital to have one, but I don't think it's the end all, like you have to, because there's so much value in learning how to work and, you know, working hard and supporting yourself. And there's a lot of jobs that you don't need that. So I'm not going to necessarily die on that hill, you know, so to speak. And so, yeah, at this point we plan to, but we'll see how it goes. So I think with that, I am going to close out the video. Make sure you go check out Rachel in the description box again, as I had mentioned. But I hope you enjoyed the very chatty, long video today. I have a feeling as I go through editing this, I'll have to cut out quite a bit because I tend to just be so long-winded. So if you're still here at the end, wow, you have definitely hung in there, and I appreciate it. So thank you for supporting our channel. It really, really means a lot. I look forward to being here next week. We're doing a little room refresh in our bedroom, and so I think that's my next video that's going to be coming up, and so stay tuned for that. But I will see you all next time. Bye, friends.